So if you're trying to buy a house, it's tough enough that interest rates are high, that home prices keep going up, but worse yet, your offer keeps getting declined, not even accepted. Half the time you don't even hear back from the listing agent. They just ghost you. Why is your offer not getting accepted? Well, to be Captain Obvious, it's not competitive enough. So let's talk about some things that my clients have been doing in this highly competitive market to make their offers stand out against the crowd. First tip, get pre-approved, not pre-qualified. Pre-approval shows that you're serious. A pre-approval shows the listing agent, shows the seller that you can most likely perform on your financing. Whereas a pre-qualification, they don't even check your credit on those. So showing up with a pre-approval letter is gonna set your offer ahead of those that are being submitted with a pre-qualification letter. And if you really wanna step your game up, get your loan underwritten ahead of time. It's called a TBD underwrite. And then guess what? You can write an offer with no loan contingency, which I'll get to in a bit. But at the end of the day, be pre-approved, not pre-qualified. Second tip, do conventional financing. Yes, even if you're a veteran and you'd prefer to do a VA loan. Hey, guess what? I'm a veteran and I prefer to do a VA loan myself. But I know that when I submit an offer as a veteran with a VA loan, that my offer is not going to be as attractive to other offers that are not VA. Why? Well, a VA loan, they require further inspections. They require a pest report, which means that there could be things that the seller's going to have to address, like repairs, money it's going to cost them in order to do business with me. Same thing goes for FHA loans. FHA loans, the appraiser is going to do a much deeper dive and often is going to find things that the seller's going to have to fix or pay for in order for your FHA loan to go forward, whereas on a conventional loan, it would have never come up. All right, tip number 3, be prepared to move quickly. You got to be ready to pounce. Time kills all deals in a competitive market. So guess what? If you like the house because it's turnkey, it checks many of the boxes, well, guess what? There's probably other people, i.e. competition out in the market that's going to write an offer. So don't sit around forever thinking about it. If you are serious about buying a house and you like this house, get off your butt and write that offer before somebody else does and it's no longer available. All right, tip number 4, work with an experienced real estate agent. Why? Yeah, I get it. You can find the house on Zillow yourself. Really, these days, the value of a real estate agent ultimately is that they're going to help you negotiate. I mean, are you going to go negotiate your own deal? Do you know all the strategies in the current market? Probably not. At the end of the day, an experienced real estate agent, that's somebody that's active in the real estate market full time. They're not a part-timer. So like your friend that works for the state, that's not the realtor that you want to work with. You want somebody that's in the batter's box day in and day out and knows the tricks to put your offer ahead of others. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value out of this, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and leave your comments and questions below. Maybe I'll make a video about it. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get more videos like this. All right, tip number 5, make a strong initial offer. Don't go in and lowball. If you're serious about buying a house and this is a competitive market and it's a competitive house, we're not talking about the house that's been sitting on the market for 180 days with no offers because it's overpriced and held together with spit and termite wings, and when the first storm comes out, it's going to blow over. That's not the house we're talking about. We're talking about competitive properties on the market that are priced right, that are turnkey, that people want. That's why you're not getting your offer accepted, because there's other people making a better offer. So you need to go in strong, go hard in the paint right out of the gate and offer what you're really willing to pay for the property. Doesn't mean that you need to overpay, but don't go in and be that guy that's lowballing when everybody else is offering list price. By now, I hope you've noticed the theme that it's not all about price. It comes down to what the seller's needs are. Obviously, people want to get the most money that they can, but it doesn't matter if you're the highest price offer if you're trying to close in 2 weeks and the seller needs 2 months. Tip number 6, accept the property as it is. Don't ask the seller to fix things. If there's something that you don't like about the property, if there's some damage with the property, maybe there's dry rot on the eaves or whatever, don't ask the seller to fix that. Again, we're talking about a competitive property in a competitive market. if you go in and you start adding friction and you start adding things that the seller needs to pay for and that the seller needs to be responsible for and other people are not, well, guess what? Your offer isn't as good and most likely won't get accepted. So if it's a competitive market and you need to be competitive, take the property as is and fix that thing yourself. Tip number 7, be flexible with your contingency periods. You've got your home inspection, you've got your appraisal, and you've got your finance contingencies. Well, in the world of negotiating between you and the seller, the longer your contingencies are, the less competitive your offer is. So if you can either remove contingencies, which isn't always the best decision, or if you can shorten them up a bunch, that's much better than going in with standards. In our market, often people will write a loan contingency period for like 17 to 21 days. Well, that's not competitive. You should do it in like 10 days or 5 days or something like that. Because again, you're moving fast. You got pre-approved. You're following these other tips that I'm talking about, so you're ready to pounce, which means that you can move fast. Pro tip number 8, show flexibility with your closing date. Either maybe you move it up to where you're gonna close really fast, like in that scenario where I was talking about the seller, they got a vacant property and the mortgage payments just eating a hole in their bank account. They're not trying to extend escrow out. They want to get that thing closed so that they can get it off the books so that they can stop making that payment. Whereas if it's somebody that's been living in that house for 25 years and they got 25 years worth of crap that they need to pack up and go move and they haven't even found their next house, well, they're probably not motivated by your ability to close in 14 days. But if you're willing to take 60 days or something like that to close, well, maybe that's going to appeal to their needs. And speaking of appealing to their needs, you may want to consider offering a rent back, or what they call a post-possession agreement. Basically, you're going to allow the seller to remain in possession of the property after you buy the property. Maybe it's for a week, maybe it's for a month. Don't go beyond 2 months. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble getting your home loan because now it's a rental property, whereas you're supposed to occupy the property in 60 days. So don't go beyond 60 days of rent back. But that can be an opportunity to make your offer more appealing to the seller. You're giving them flexibility in when they need to get out of the property. Tip number 9, make a larger earnest money deposit. You know, if you're already planning on coming up with $50,000 for your transaction and, you know, let's say your earnest money deposit is only $6,000, well, maybe you bump it up to 20 grand or 30 grand or something like that. At the end of the day, you're still going to have to come up with that money. The earnest money is going to be applied towards the funds that you need to close your transaction. So it's not like you're losing the money or something like that, but it's much more of an optical illusion to the seller. You're showing them that you're more serious. You've put more skin in the game. And as long as you meet your contingencies and you still want to move forward with the transaction after you've removed them, then you really got nothing to lose. All right, my last tip for you is to use a local mortgage broker. Why local? Well, it's a good old boys club. And when the listing agent is looking at the pre-approval letter and they're looking at the offer, one of the things that they're looking at is your ability to close your financing. And if it comes from ABC Mortgage in BFE that they've never heard of versus the local company that they know and trust, it's going to make a difference in the recommendation that they make to the seller. I hope you've gotten value out of this, and I really hope that you can use some of these strategies to help your offer get accepted. If you'd like to talk to me and my team about your home purchase, we'd love to be a resource for you. Go ahead and reach out to us. You can click the link below to schedule a free, no-hassle consultation, or just give us a call. And if you haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.